Joining me now, representing Colorado's 4th Congressional District, Congressman Ken Buck. Mr. Congressman, Facebook. We learned so much about Facebook, don't we? Now they're not just going to suspend us, they're going to call us terrorists.
And they're going to ask us to snitch on each other and have this private group of investigators going around and trying to root out what they think is evil speech. It is ugly and it's unfortunate, but it is a reality that they are a corporation, not a government. And our Constitution protects us from this kind of activity by the government, but not by a corporation. The answer is to deal with the antitrust laws. The answer is to make sure that we have 5 Facebooks, just like we have different news organizations on cable TV or newspapers or other news sources. We need to have many different Facebooks and Twitters and Googles to give us those kinds of options so that we aren't censored. We understand there's bias in various areas of media, but we don't want censorship.
Now, we all saw the launch of Getter that happened on Sunday, which is proving to be a good competitor of Twitter, at least so far based on their early results. But Facebook and Instagram, they have built such a base, even worldwide, where they can make these kinds of decisions and no one's really going to hold them accountable. And Congress right now, it's difficult to get anything done. Do you see the states more leading this effort in the meantime, instead of us having to talk about it and try to do something about it, but the Democrats will just block it?
Yeah, there are some states that have the resources. Most states don't have the resources in an attorney general's office to take on giants like Facebook and Google. The answer is the Federal Trade Commission and the Antitrust Division at the Department of Justice. But certainly having the states involved and having the states, they're closer to the people. They hear more about what the problems are, and they provide great solutions and energy to the effort. Ultimately, though, what needs to happen is the Federal Trade Commission, the Antitrust Division need to get their act together and recognize the threat, not just to speech, but to competition that these giants pose.
Well, we saw how well big tech, how well, right? You say, well for them, that they coordinated in the last election, big tech and the Democrats. That didn't end in 2020 once they got the result they wanted through fraud and all the other methods. Now they're coordinating to suppress people right now. They're not waiting for the midterms next year. If they can suspend accounts, all the traditional methods of campaigning, they can pull advertising. And there really is no place conservatives can go.
I agree with you, and you're right about Getter and Parler and building alternatives. But in the meantime, we need to make sure that we hold these big tech companies accountable and use the antitrust laws to keep them in check and develop new antitrust laws to make sure that they don't get out of control. But we know that 6 months before the 2020 election, Google changed its algorithm, and by doing so, it disadvantaged President Trump, and it gave the advantage to candidate Biden. That you can affect millions and millions of votes when people go online to search for information that they need to make a decision on how to vote. If you change algorithms like that, it's incredibly dangerous what's going on in this country and really around the world. These companies are willing to censor speech in China to allow terrible human rights violations by the Communist Chinese Party. And yet in this country, they are censoring conservatives who want to stand for freedom and really the patriotic values that are so near and dear to our hearts in this country.
Do you think it's because here in America, big tech gives orders to the government, but in other countries, the governments give them their orders? Do you see it as big tech really is running our country right now?
Well, I don't think big tech gave President Trump orders, and that's why they wanted to get rid of him. And I think it's clear that they will do whatever they can to make sure that the government aligns with their values in this country. But absolutely, in other countries, communist China and other countries, they tell these technology companies what can and can't be spoken about on their platforms. And it's scary that they take those ideas back to America with them.
It is frightening to see, and you even saw what Zuckerberg did with the drop boxes, trying to work that front as well, hundreds of millions of dollars pouring it in. They really are a force to be reckoned with. We have to reckon with them, or we're going to lose our country to them, and China's going to end up ruling us. Thank you, Mr. Congressman, for continuing to fight this front. I know it's discouraging based on the kind of support that is not there in Congress right now, but keep it up because the people really are with you.
Thank you, and God bless you. I appreciate that.
God bless you.